recording right now?
Yes, I am.
Turn it off.
Pardon?
Did you get my consent to record me?
I don't need your consent.
Yes, sir, you do. Turn it off or I'm going to charge you.
Okay, I'm not turning it off.
Yes, sir, you are.
You
Give me your phone, sir.
I don't consent to you taking my...
You don't get to do that. I'm serious. Put your hands behind your back.
Do I need your consent to public place to record?
Yes, sir. If you're going to audio record me, yes, sir. If you want to video record me, you can turn around.
Okay.
If you want to video record me, you can. Is this another recorder you have?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I don't consent to you taking my recording. Sir, this is a public space in Florida. You do not need your consent. Do not turn my camera on.
Sir?
Do not turn my camera on. In a January 2012 law enforcement newsletter published by the 8th Judicial Circuit of Florida, there is an outstanding article authored by Assistant State Attorney George Wright regarding the right of the citizens to record public officials in a public space while executing their official public duty. So Thomas Covenant and Honor Your Oath visited Gainesville, Florida to speak with Assistant State Attorney George Wright regarding his outstanding article on the right to film public officials in a public space. Our goal was to seek some sort of continuity throughout the state of Florida regarding the right of the citizens to film public officials. Here are some highlights from Mr. Wright's outstanding article. The First Amendment allows citizens to film public officials in a public places in the execution of their duties. The issue is, what rights do private citizens have to record police officers? Courts have ruled that the First Amendment protects citizens in recording police activity in a public forum. In the year 2000 case Smith v. City of Cumming, Georgia, the Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit Court held that, as to the First Amendment claim under Section 1983, we agree with the Smiths that they had a First Amendment right to photograph or videotape police conduct. The First Amendment protects the right to gather information about what public officials do on public property, and specifically a right to record matters of public interest. Public forums are government-owned properties that the government is constitutionally obligated to make available for speech, traditionally parks or sidewalks. Any interference with the First Amendment activity in a public forum is reviewed by the courts with the highest scrutiny. The Florida law against interception of oral communication does not apply where there is no reasonable expectation of privacy. In several Florida cases, law enforcement officers have responded to people recording them by arresting the person either under Florida's wiretap statute 934.03 or for resisting arrest without violence, Florida statute 843.02. Juries and court systems have not reacted to these arrests positively, acquitting those charged of criminal offenses and ruling against the police agencies in civil suits. For an oral conversation to be protected under statute 934.03, Florida courts have stated that the person recorded must have an actual subjective expectation of privacy, along with a societal recognition that the expectation is reasonable. The more public a space is, the less the courts will be willing to view an officer's expectation of privacy as reasonable. Courts are holding law enforcement officers individually liable in civil suits. Ordinarily, public officials such as law enforcement are protected from being sued in their individual capacity by the doctrine of qualified immunity, which shields government officials from actions insofar as their conduct does not violate clearly established statutory or constitutional rights of which a reasonable person would have known. In the famous Glick case, the United States Court of Appeals for the First Circuit held that officers were not entitled to qualified immunity when they arrested a bystander for filming them in a public space, ruling that this was exercising a clearly established First Amendment right. While no Florida court has ruled similarly, the threat still exists that an officer arresting someone for recording them could be personally sued. Thomas Covenant and Honor Your Oath felt like the meeting with Mr. Wright was very constructive, and we were leaving the building feeling very encouraged about our right to film public officials in a public space. As we walked out the door of the state attorney's office in Gainesville, Florida, we noticed a prison inmate work crew working just a couple of blocks away. So we decided to do a First Amendment test and see what happened.
I have nothing to say to you, thank you. I have nothing to say to you, thank you. What statute is it? What statute? No, it's not. I have nothing further to say to you. Have a nice day. Don't interfere with my right to videotape, thank you. So now this is the problem. You can see we're on a public sidewalk. There's traffic going by. These people have cameras. People have dashboard cameras. There's cameras on all these buildings filming all this. I'm not interfering with him at all. I'm simply engaged in my First Amendment protected right to videotape. And now what he's doing is he's loading up his prisoners and he's going to leave because he figures that I'm interfering with him in some way. And this is nonsense. This crap has got to stop. I'm absolutely in no way interfering with him. He engaged me in conversation, and I told him that I had nothing to say to him. So if they want to push this issue, we'll see which one trumps, which one has more power. My First Amendment right and your First Amendment right to videotape in a public space, or their policy. Okay.
I don't think we'll see the police. He's leaving.